Welcome back to my channel. I'm Chanya Ray, and today I'm going to be doing a June energy update for the collective 2025. If you're meeting me for the first time, welcome. If you're returning, I greatly appreciate you for sticking with me and welcome back. Before I get started, I just want to say don't ever make something fit, whether it's my readings or someone else's personal or collective like this, that does not feel aligned to you. With that said, I have set the intention that this will meet the people that it is meant for. It is going to be generalized because I am looking at the energy for the month of June. Now, the point isn't necessarily to make predictions about what is going to happen, but instead look at the energy and what is potent so that we can use it to our advantage. I do always encourage people to look at anything that sticks out to you, even if it feels like you're a little bit resistant or triggered by it, not to make it fit. Let me stress that again, not to make it fit, but sometimes those triggers are asking you to look at them a little bit deeper so that you can garner a deeper knowing. But do not make something fit if you know that it's truly not aligned to you. With that spiel out of the way, one other thing I want to share is I've already re-recorded this. If you are returning, you probably are saying, this is a new format. It looks like you're on Zoom, Tanya. Well, I am, because the software that I use to record, I tried to use it twice, and after getting through the reading, it just didn't save. So if you're watching this, it did work on Zoom. With that said, I kept the cards that I've already drawn. I did feel called to pull an extra tarot deck, so I'll pull that after I share with you the cards that I already have out. But for whatever reason, I'm very confident that the energies are going to stay the same no matter what cards I pull. These energies are very potent for the month of June. Some months I can read on different platforms because, by the way, I did do a different reading on TikTok. So if you're coming here from TikTok, thank you. And it is a slightly different reading. However, a lot of the energies, a lot of the cards are the same, even though I'm using a completely different deck. That said, I did pull another tarot deck because sometimes I think that it's kind of interesting just to see if perhaps there's repeating cards and themes, or if we're getting a completely different energy from the deck and all of that. So most of the cards have been pulled, but you'll see me pulling from that specific deck. Let's get started because that was a big spiel with the main theme. That's basically what I was asking is what are the main themes or theme for the month of June 2025? And the first thing that came up was the Two of Cups. Now, the Two of Cups is very interesting because, like I mentioned, I already did do a reading for TikTok. And on TikTok, it was lovers first. These two energies can be very similar because oftentimes when we look at these cards, we think relationships and romantic relationships at that, as well as love and compassion. What I find interesting about that is the numerology for the month of June 2025 is 6. And 6 in numerology is about balance, harmony, romantic relationships, and looking at home life and where that's in balance or not. So when we're looking at the Two of Cups, this definitely could be about romantic relationships and changes in that status. So like if you're in a relationship, perhaps things progressing. It could mean marriage. I'm not saying that that's something that's really the common thread here, but it could mean things like that. But it's a union card. Some people will call it a divine union card. Another thing about the Two of Cups energy is that it's balance. Anytime we're looking at a two, there's a level of balance that is trying to be displayed. And in this case, balance in relationships, whether it's your relationship with yourself, with your higher self or God, how whatever you identify with you can apply that there. Your relationship to friends, your children, if you have them, etc. What I'm trying to say is that June really feels like a month of getting all of that kind of settled and balanced. So being willing to take a deeper look at your relationships and how you're communicating. Are you able to see eye to eye? Or are you open to being okay with the fact that you don't have to agree all of the time? And just because I have a different perspective than you does not mean that it invalidates either of our perspectives. And being able to see it from a broader standpoint. So that's a big energy for June. And if you're thinking, well, how do I do that? That's when the love and compassion energy of the Two of Cups and the numerology for the month come in and getting really in your heart space about it. And if I was looking at this with more love and compassion, especially when we're talking about our relationship with ourselves, how could I give myself more grace? How could I see things differently if I was looking at it as subjectively as I could, or as neutral as I could? What is coming through then if I'm looking at it from that way? Like I said, where are where in your life is something possibly feeling a little off kilter? This could be emotions and things, and just needing to look at where are these emotions really coming from? And am I avoiding them? Am I allowing them? Do I feel like they're out of control? Looking at all of that and asking yourself questions like, what really is causing this imbalance? And is there a way that I can kind of tip the scales so that I'm not feeling wobbly anymore? We're not feeling overly emotional anymore. So, big themes, like I said. Now, the next card that we have is Chariot. And this is a typically a fast-paced or a movement card, taking action, getting moving, and just having momentum. But one thing that I want to point out about these two cards together is number one, just a cautionary. If you're somebody that is resonating with, like, I'm trying to call in a relationship right now, I'm trying to call in my person or advancement in my current relationship or something like that, this could be an indication that something is going to happen pretty quick and it might move sort of fast. Now, the chariot doesn't necessarily have to move fast, but that's typically how I read it, is that the ball is going to get rolling and it might feel kind of quick. With that said, the chariot is also, it's an action card. Like I said, it's movement. It can be travel. It can be, moving towards success. And I'm kind of seeing it as, like I said, a little bit of a turning point. So I feel like a lot of us have felt very stagnant lately in one area of our life or more. And it's something that, like, I'm hearing the questioning of, is this ever going to change? Or, like, why can't I make the changes type of energy? And this is the month that we're going to see momentum if we truly allow ourselves to do the healing, the deep inner work, looking within and taking action from that place. Spending some time in meditation, journaling, in nature, whatever makes sense for you is going to help you to connect deeper into your own inner knowing. And through that, things are going to start stabilizing and moving forward. So if you are resonating with that stagnant energy, the feeling of stuckness, this is your month. Again, I don't know if I said this, but Chariot is also an indication of success, of things turning in your favor, if you will. Or I don't really like that terminology because it's because you're choosing it, right? It's because you're choosing to take the action. And with saying choosing to take the action, when I originally did this reading, the next two cards that I'm about to share fell out, and they're definitely part of this reading, but the one that I'm about to read next fell out right when I said choosing to take action. And we've got our inspired action card if I ever saw one. It's the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is this energy. The Knight of Wands, I see them as a big energy or aspects of us that are big energy and passionate energy. So we're being asked to kind of ride that wave of excitement and inspiration, but don't leave it there without taking the action steps, taking an inspired action. Because otherwise, how is anything going to come into fruition? Manifestation is great and all, but what sometimes we don't talk about is the actions that have to be put into place. Now, back to the Two of Cups, something that I didn't bring up before is the balance between masculine and feminine energies, or the balance between giving and receiving, flow versus taking intentional action. So, those balancing things are also part of the Two of Cups. So, that's within us. It's not about another person because we're not meant to meet our other half so that they complete us, really. I mean, if that's what you resonate with, that's what you resonate with. But if we don't feel whole within ourselves, we're never going to feel whole just because we bring in another person. And so we all have masculine and feminine traits or energy, trusting, nurturing our goals, our aspirations, but also taking the action, which would be a little bit more of the masculine, like taking matters into your own hands and all of that. Now, the thing with the Knight of Wands that's kind of cautioning us just a tiny bit here is that the Knight of Wands can get really excited about things and maybe even excited about a lot of things. And so sometimes they're taking action and they're doing this, that, and the other thing, but it's not necessarily directed in a way that's going to amount to as much growth or as much progress as you might want. If you're spreading yourself too thin, like, I'm really excited about this thing, I'm really excited about that thing, I'm really like, try to target it a little bit more and, bring yourself again, I'm going to use the word again, back into balance with it. Because you're being driven by your heart, you're being driven by your passion. And as long as you're following that, that's great. But a lot of us have a lot of passion and desire. And once we open up to it, we can get a little bit impulsive sometimes, even really impatient about why isn't something happening fast enough. And that's when we have to also, or that's when we're being guided to also calm down a little bit, go within and trust that if this is for me, then it's not going to miss me. The thing that we often don't understand about the concept of if something is truly aligned with us, it's not going to just go away, is it hasn't come to me fast enough, so it must not be for me. But sometimes it's something has to be tweaked in our life. It might be our living arrangement, our job, just the way that we're thinking about it, like our energy toward it, etc. And so we're kind of blocking that from happening, but it doesn't mean that it's not aligned to us. It's just we're not ready for it. This is a silly example, but I always think it'd be really cool to go viral on social media. And earlier this week, I went way more viral than I ever have on any social media. It was kind of scary to me. And I felt like, whether this is true or not, what I felt like was this is spirit showing me like I have some things to work through before I go super viral because it was so scary and you end up attracting like a lot of different energies, a lot of different opinions, and you have to have thick skin to deal with that or to just ignore it. The whole point of that is I'm not ready for that. I realized after that experience, I'm not quite ready for that. I need a little bit more healing, a little bit more stabilizing, something before that's going to happen regularly in my life. Okay, so that's just one silly example, but the whole point is that I saw very clearly that, oh, I thought I wanted this thing, and really I'm not quite ready for it. It doesn't mean that it can't be my reality at some point, but there is something that needs to shift. We might be given a little bit of a hint of the thing that we want, and we realize it that way, or it's just not coming into fruition and we think, oh, okay, so it's not for me. But when we center back in to our heart space, what do I truly want and why do I want it? What is my why? If that's strong enough, then trust that taking that action and being a little bit more patient, having a little bit more love and compassion for yourself specifically and for the journey, then that can go a long way and it can get you a lot closer to whatever it is that you're trying to create, whatever it is that you want your reality to look like. That said, though, enjoy this energy of the Knight of Wands because the Knight of Wands likes the adventure. They like to have a little bit of fun and they're joyous about this situation because they're following their heart's desire. They're following the excitement and the enthusiasm. So this is bringing us back to the enthusiasm for our lives. And I feel like I might have already said this, but that we've kind of been in a hibernation mode since the beginning of the year, a lot of us. And there's been some stagnancy, some feelings of like when are things going to change, as well as just like questioning, I'm doing all of the things, but nothing seems to be working sort of energy. Or why can't I get myself to do the things? Why don't I have the willpower for it or whatever? And this Knight of Wands is kind of here telling us, as well as the Chariot, that it's time to choose ourselves. And if it's something that we truly, truly, in our heart of hearts, wants, then we're going to make the changes. We're going to probably see big changes this month if we embrace that. With that said, the last card that came out, and this one actually came out with the Knight of Wands when I initially did the reading, is the Sun. Now, this is our success card. She's abundance, she's joy, she's creativity. So I'm really feeling like this is a very creative month for us. I'm feeling like June has the energy, quite honestly, of new things coming into the world that haven't been here before. On a smaller scale, I mean, you might be one of those people that births one of those big creations into the world, or you get the ball rolling on that. Maybe that's the thing that you've been feeling stuck on. But at a smaller scale, it's clarity. And like I said, it's momentum in our lives. There's momentum happening, but it needs to come from a place of love, compassion, joy. Sorry, I can't hold that finger up. Joy and, all of those emotions. Now, I am not at all saying avoid the negative, the lower vibrational emotions. We have to feel the whole gambit of them. We can't just bottle or push aside the ones that we don't want to feel. That's not really how that works, unfortunately. But doing things that bring us back into that energy of joy and bringing ourselves back into love and compassion when we're being judgmental of ourselves, for example, or getting impatient and stuff is going to go a long way this month. So, just to recap, let's have some fun this month. If you are somebody who is trying to call in love, let me be clear, this does feel like a good month for that, both with the numerology as well as the cards. I will say with that, the caution there is pay attention to your own intuitions. Actually, this is true for whatever it is that's going on in your life. Pay attention to your own intuitions on the things because sometimes we get so caught up in the feelings, the good feelings, and the passion and desire that we then sort of lose, is this really good for us? It's okay to have fun if that's what you choose. I'm not making a judgment on that. But don't fool yourself into believing it's something that it's not. So just be very mindful of that, is what I'm trying to say. I'm hearing Wish Upon a Star this month, as well as Choose Yourself. I think I've already said that one, and that kept coming up when I did the original recording. And something I didn't say about the sun is it's an abundance card. It's manifestations coming into fruition and believing in that. And also, I look at the sun as, shining the light on things, like so getting clarity, but through the energy of having more joy and really living in the excitement of life a little bit more. This month is definitely an inner journey. Like, don't look at this as an outer thing of, oh, I'm going to meet my person or I'm going to improve my relationships with my significant other and my friends and stuff, because those things are important, but it all starts with us. It all starts with us. So we have to be able to look at, maybe the things that we weren't willing to see before, or we couldn't see in ourselves that might need to be healed or just acknowledged. It very much is a deep inner journey month. But in doing that, and if you've been somebody who's been really doing that for the last 6 months or several years or whatever it is, very good chance that you're calling in a lot of really cool things this month. So with that, I'm going to pull from the other tarot. Now, this tarot is the one that I used on TikTok, so it will be interesting. I don't know at this point if I remember which cards came out, but if I see them, I'll probably remember. I know that the Knight of Wands, I believe, came out in that reading as well. There was overlap for sure, which I'm not surprised by because these are big energies for June. So when an energy feels like, or when a month feels like super energetic to me, then I see a lot of repeating messages, whereas sometimes I can do readings on different platforms and the cards are quite a bit different. And even when I'm reading intuitively feels quite a bit different. And that doesn't mean that um it's not accurate. It just means that um it could just mean like the audience that is seeing it is a little bit different. And so I'm reading the aspects of the people that are to see it, or I'm just getting the different aspects. You know what I mean? So with that, the card that popped out is the Knight of Pentacles. So that's kind of like grounding in the energy of the Knight of Wands a little bit. So taking more grounded action, but also from a place of being inspired so that you're setting a clear foundation for yourself, which is a large part of what this reading is putting things back into balance, looking at where there's anything that's a little bit off kilter and how can you stabilize that a little bit to build a more stable future, a more secure future. And the Knight of Pentacles is the one that's saying, I trust that if I'm putting my energy toward it and I just keep going, that it is going to build that momentum and that foundation, and it is going to pay off. And he's the Pentacles, so of course it is. We do have the Five of Wands coming up, and did you see? It was kind of like fighting me there. So, just be really mindful of what I'm hearing is be mindful of the noise. This month, even though it is largely about relationships and connection and enhancing those connections, it's also about enhancing our connection to our intuition. And when we are sort of like in competition with other people or trying to be heard over other people, but also allowing them to give all of their opinions to us without going within, without allowing ourselves to be in quiet a little bit more and hear ourselves, then things just get really noisy and confusing. And it's going to block your manifestations from coming in, but also it's going to block you from getting the clarity that you desire. This is about you. It's not about what everyone else is doing. And you don't have to fight your way to the top. But like there's one more card. One more card. You know what is really interesting about this Five of Wands, though? There's a balanced aspect to this card. And if I'm being totally honest, I'm reading this based on Rider Waite right now and intuitive information that's coming in. But it's possible that it actually means something else in this particular deck. But we do have the Nine of Cups. So to me, that is signifying like definitely there is celebration energy here. And this month has the potential of being very transformative when it comes to expressing ourselves and being independent and in the way that makes room for other people in our lives, whether they're already in our lives or we're trying to, find the friends or find the significant other. The way that we experience love is actually based around how we love ourselves. So it's not true, in my opinion, that somebody can't love you if you don't love yourself. What is more accurate than saying that is your experience and your ability to receive that love and to give it back out is going to be dependent on how much you can love yourself. So that's why the love and compassion is so important. But back on track to the Nine of Cups, it's giving success, it's giving celebration, it's giving the look at what I did energy and even the wish upon a star energy. I think I might have already said that. It came up a lot when I was originally doing this reading. So this month is really, it's opening a lot of doors, a lot of opportunities, and it's asking you to be willing to take a deeper look at what's going on internally. What is your truth? Are there any stories that you're telling that need a little bit of updating? Even, from a more practical, less woo-woo level, looking at just we're about halfway through the year now, what's gone well, what hasn't, but through the lens of love and compassion for yourself. Give yourself a little bit of grace. It's not about judging. It's just about seeing and being real with yourself so that you can experience the wins that you're looking for and not running away scared of the emotions, okay? Of feeling the things. So I think I've probably hit that one home. Here are the soul coaching cards that came out. We've got Essence. And essence is about your essence, letting your true, authentic self shine, be heard, be seen. So, again, that requires going within. That requires spending time in your own energy, not the whole month. Get out there and enjoy it and have fun and build connections, but also give yourself the balance of this is my time for me because there's going to be, something magical in that experience that helps guide you to not only a deeper understanding of yourself, but a deeper understanding of purpose, if you will, a deeper understanding of like how to express yourself. And if you are a person that's a little bit down on yourself, I'm really feeling compelled to say right now, other people already see your light. It's there. You just have to allow yourself to start seeing it and recognizing it. So it's important to do some reflection on that if that's something that's tough for you. Because success is coming in this month. It wants to be here. And we got love. I don't think I need to say a whole lot more about this, but I do love that she has a heart right in her heart center. So she's being guided right by her heart center, which is what we're talking about with the Knight of Wands and all of this passion and desire energy. And then we have joy, which we've already talked about, embracing that, doing some things that bring you joy, maybe even revisiting things from the past that have given you joy that have sort of fallen to the wayside. But new things are also good because they can uh, also inspire that passion and it can just be a really good inspiration. It can give you a new perspective on life. And then we have beginnings. So I think I just mentioned new opportunities really do feel like they're trying to come in for a lot of us. And new starts, as well as just being able to see things clearly, clarity, and understanding that we don't need to know exactly how things are going to go to make that first step because we're not actually ever going to know how things are going to go until we try something. We can't know unless you're extremely, extremely psychic and have 100% prediction rate. And if you are, you're not watching this. The other thing is that that doesn't exist. So we can't know exactly how things are going to turn out, and that's why it's scary. But we have, like, if we want to see forward movements, we've got to take a chance sometimes, okay? We got to get moving. So new things. There's new energy coming in for sure this month. Flying broom. I can't let, or sorry, I can let go of my mistakes. I can let go of my mistakes. So, how fitting is that? Yes, I've seen these cards before, but this is exactly how they came out. And I'm saying very similar things to what I said in the initial reading. How fitting is that that I was just talking about how we have to just try. We're never going to know if it's going to work out. And the affirmation card is saying, and if we make a mistake or if it just doesn't turn out, that's okay too. I don't have to carry that. I can carry the lesson from it, the knowing from it if I want, but I don't have to feel a bunch of shame and whatever else for a mistake. And then we have magic eggs. Beginning something is exciting. Ooh, I love this because excitement and anxiety are really actually similar vibrationally, but one feels scary and the other one also feels a little bit scary. One feels more desired to like we desire feeling excitement and we dread anxiety. But really, if you look at them as it's the same thing, then can it drive you? And so when we're talking about it being kind of scary for new beginnings and we might drag our feet even though we know that that's what we want because we don't know how it's going to turn out, we're dragging our feet. This is your reframe. Beginning something is exciting. It's exciting. And by the way, just so you know, it's normal to ask, or it's normal to have a lot of resistance to the change. I think we all know the story of our ego and how our ego is just trying to keep us safe. But one way that it was shared with me recently that really resonated was the reason that we have such a hard time moving forward is not only that our ego is trying to keep us safe, But our ego is actively trying to convince us, like, hey, we need to stay here because I know that we survived it before. So that's like if you're in a traumatic situation, like you know that you're in an unhealthy situation and you're blaming yourself because I never make the changes or I never leave or whatever it is. It's because your ego is working overtime to convince you that you are safer there because you've already survived it. And even if the new thing is exciting, it's unknown. I don't know if I'm going to survive this. So that understanding might help. I know it has helped me to kind of call myself a little bit more on it from a place truly of love and compassion because it's like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. It also helps me to understand or get to the heart of the issue quicker, see where the limiting beliefs are and all of that. And finally, oh, maybe this is why I kept hearing Wish Upon a Star. This card is Wish Upon a Star. I am made from the stuff of stars. I matter. I am made from the stuff of stars. I matter. You matter. You are a star. Have the most amazing June. I am really excited to hear what manifestations, what things are going on for you in the month of June. What are you excited about? I think we should start there. Comment below if you feel called to share that. If you would like to have a personal reading with me, I actually have a really great deal going on for a limited time. I will put the link here. And what it is $25 for a 30-minute reading over Zoom. The only reason that it's that price, which is like a little more, it's about half price of my normal readings, if I'm being honest, is because I do in-person readings at a friend's shop occasionally, and I charge based on what the other readers charge. So that's what they charge, and I'm okay with it because I enjoy going to the shop and connecting with people in person. So people had asked me, can I get that deal over Zoom because I can't see you in the small town that you're doing readings in? And so I thought, yes, I will open up a few slots for that. So long story short, that link will be in the description as long as I have slots available. Feel free to comment or whatever else if you have any questions, and I will see you soon. Have an amazing month.